I left my camera by a tree and I walked away from it to go film my Where's Poppy. And you'll see it's kind of bad because I'm super paranoid that my camera's way over here and I'm way over here, and I just left it there. Someone could just easily just grab it and take it, but they didn't. And I filmed my Where's Poppy scene and it was fine. No one went near it, no one touched it. And honestly, that's happened quite a lot just in China. I've left things, my phone or whatever, and no one ever touches it. My boyfriend left his credit card or his debit card in the ATM machine at a bank, not even his bank, and he got it back. I don't know, people just don't steal things here. That is something I've learned. You know, they say that there's cameras everywhere in China, and honestly there are, and I actually kind of like that, because if you get hit by a car, if you get in any sort of trouble, there's a camera proof giving you evidence that you got robbed or you got into trouble. I see the hot springs and they let me in, and this lady kind of takes me into the dressing room. She sees me holding my camera and immediately is like, no, boo-how, no camera, no video, not allowed. There's been a little bit of a change of plans. Apparently you're not allowed to take video or photo here, so at this place, it's an outdoor area, super cool, surrounded by mountains, really beautiful, but she had to come with me to every hot spring I went to, and she made sure I went to every single one. She was super nice about it, and it was kind of nice, you know, I am there alone to have some sort of social aspect. Anyways, these hot springs were awesome. Right. First thing in my mind is, okay, I don't have change for the bus. I only have 100 kwai, and you don't always get change. Actually, normally you don't get change on the bus. I asked a lady at the bus stop if I could send her money via WeChat and then she pay for my bus ticket. And she said no, but this is where the incredible experience happened. She said, no, I will pay for your ticket. And I thought, no. And she just insisted, and she paid for my bus ticket, but that doesn't stop here. She paid for my bus ticket and then was so concerned because I'm a female and I'm alone in a city, and obviously I'm not from China, that she actually came with me to the end where I got off the bus with me, went to the metro with me, helped me buy a ticket. I didn't need help, but whatever, helped me buy a ticket, got on my metro, and actually took me all the way to my metro stop where my hotel was, and then let me go. That's how concerned and how thoughtful she was, that she wanted to make sure I was safe and I got back to my hotel, and she literally walked me back, essentially. Like, I have no idea where she lived, I don't know where she was going, it wasn't where I was going, and yet she felt that she needed to help me get there, which was an amazing experience. That doesn't happen every day, and I'm not saying if you come to China that's gonna happen, but it just goes to show, like, people, you know, they want to help you, and yes, they might be a little bit scared of you sometimes because you're an expat and there's not a lot of us here, and they do feel intimidated sometimes, but they still, like, there are good people and people will help you. Across China by myself, walked around the city during the day and the night, took a trip outside of the city by myself and back, left my camera in a crowded area, and never once did I feel in danger. Is China safe? You tell me.
My simple answer to the question, do I feel safe in China, would be yes, I do feel safe. I feel safer than I ever imagined I would feel. However, I do want you to keep in mind that I'm not a local. I do stand out from the crowd, which can sometimes be seen as both an advantage and disadvantage. But in my videos, I just want to show you China from my own perspective.
For some reason, many people have this misconception of China being a very unsafe place. I don't really know where it comes from. I guess it's media. I think Western media and maybe media all over the world has this tendency to portray China as a very weird place, and even though I don't use the word weird anymore because people hate on me for some reason people have this tendency to think that China is a dangerous place. I don't know if it's just like a misconception created by media, or is it maybe because, I don't know, maybe because still not that many people travel here, so people just simply don't know. Confirm that China feels like a very safe place. I personally never experienced anything here that would make me feel uncomfortable. I never experienced, well, obviously I've never experienced anyone attacking me. I never experienced any men yelling after me, people making me feel uncomfortable. And it's pretty much the same with all my other friends. All my girlfriends say the same thing. Many people are actually surprised coming here how safe they feel. Like 8 p.m, it's dark outside, I am alone, I'm carrying a camera, an iPhone, cash, and all of that, and I really do feel safe here. And that's what I love about Shanghai. Like, this is actually one of my favorite things about living here, how safe I feel. Of course, you have to be careful. I'm not telling you that nothing ever happens in Shanghai. It's a big city, shit can happen everywhere. Okay, that's why it's so safe here is, number one, there's a lot of police, and number two, I heard that apparently Shanghai has one of the best face recognition systems in the entire world. Like, you know, these cameras that you have everywhere here, basically, they're apparently really good. So that's what's keeping us safe. You know how some people like freak out about it, like, oh, we're being like whatever watched. I don't care. I do not care at all. I love the fact how safe I feel here. I really do. If that's what like takes to keep us safe, I'm fine with that. Like, Is China safe? Yes, I think China is relatively a very safe place. If you're a tourist, safety is definitely not something you should be worried about. If you want to come to China, go ahead, come here. It's a really interesting place to visit. I feel very comfortable walking around the streets as a woman, as well as someone who stands out. I've never experienced any uncomfortable situation. I walk around with my phone, everyone here does. It's not like dangerous to take out your iPhone on the metro or anything. So as I said, this is something I really like about living in Shanghai, that I feel so safe and comfortable. If I'm at the bar with my friends and I'm bored and I want to go home, which almost never happens, but if it happens, it's okay for me to just go out and take a taxi home. Of course, you have to be careful. So I'm not telling you that if you come to China, you just like close your eyes and you like do everything. No, of course you have to be careful as everywhere else in the world. But me, as someone who grew up in Poland and Denmark, which are both relatively quite safe places as well. I grew up in Copenhagen, which is also quite a safe city. I feel safer in Shanghai than I felt in Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, especially in the nightlife or at night, I did experience like, I don't know, like men making me feel uncomfortable, like groups of men like yelling stuff at you, and you know, that kind of situations. That never happened to me here, and it never happened to any of my friends, and I've never heard anyone else telling me that it happened to them. But there is one thing that makes China a very, very unsafe place, and that's traffic. And you might think that I'm exaggerating traffic, you know, like, no, but traffic in China is so bad. Like, if you're coming to China, you're crossing the street, the greenest light, you still need to make sure that you're super careful. You still need to look around. People drive here like crazy, and it is an actual issue. It's actually a big issue here. When I first moved to China, when I was like 19, I was so scared. Like, I was literally scared because you walk around and people just don't care. I even heard that in Shanghai it's supposed to be quite good comparing to other places in China, because there's quite a lot of police, and especially downtown they're really trying to, nowadays they're really trying to take care of the situation, but it's still really bad. You still have to be extremely careful.
Safe everywhere in China. I took cabs by myself. I took train rides with my husband. I rode on the back of a motorcycle. I biked all around Beijing. I walked a lot. I lived in China for 10 months, and I got catcalled one time. The main reason that China felt so safe to me is because it's a very communal atmosphere when you're there. And I'm not saying that everybody in China acts like family, or people just have conversations with each other all the time, or like everyone says hi to each other. It's just that the interactions that you have with strangers in China are not quite the same as they are in America. For example, in the car in front of you cuts you off. A lot of times your reaction in America is to get like super mad and flip them off and tell them how you feel. In China, it's definitely not like that. It's more acceptance. It's like, well, this happens all the time, and it just happened to be me that it happened to this time. The thing is, I'm speaking in very general, broad statements, so I'm not saying this about all Chinese places or all Chinese people. I'm just telling you what my impression was while I was there, and from what I came to understand, aggression was fairly rare in China. People were not very aggressive to each other very often. I rarely saw people getting like road ragey. I was the ragiest one on the road. More often than not, I actually felt really, really welcomed by people. A big reason that I felt super safe in China, and something that really bothers me about America, is the availability of guns. Chinese people aren't allowed to have guns just casually. From my travels around the world, what I've noticed is that people associate America with guns, which is so crazy to me because I have never even touched a real gun before. I'm actually like a massive pacifist, which means that I am not into guns at all. I really hate guns. They freak me the f out, and I get really nervous when I see guns. So the fact that guns are illegal in China and that I knew that no one was like carrying one on them unless it was some freak situation, that made me feel very comfortable. And actually when I came back to the US, I had a few moments where I was like, oh my God, people could just be carrying guns right now. They could be having a gun. They could have a gun. They could have a gun. And it freaked me out a lot. So yay, no guns in China. Another reason I felt super safe in China is because there's a crap load of security and police in China. Police presence in China is very strong. I'm pretty sure if you make a call to the police, they're gonna be there within like, I think it's like something like 4 minutes or something. I can't remember exactly, but so there's police everywhere. They do carry guns, and they're very large, terrifying guns, so they kind of scare the shit out of me, but you know, it's the way it is. There's lots of security to get on and off public transportation, in and out of the airport, any big transportation hubs or big tourist sites. There's always like a stop point where you have to like put your bags through one of those x-ray scanning machine things, and you have to walk through a metal detector, and sometimes like get pat down and all this kind of stuff. And I remember I took a flight out of Beijing and I went through security 3 times before I got on the plane. So that makes me feel really safe because there's a lot of like points where they would, if someone were illegally carrying a gun or a weapon or clearly carrying around something that was meant to be harmful to a lot of people, it would get caught pretty quick. The biking and driving aspects of China can be a little dangerous. While I never felt unsafe with a cab driver, be super careful when you walk around, bike around, or get in a car with someone. Anything like that. Obviously, you're gonna have to do it. I did it for 10 months. I'm here, I'm fine. Just be aware that there's a lot of like gray areas when it comes to road rules in China.